Prologue, an always on-the-road aircraft. In September 2016, Air Force Commander Ma Xiaotian announced in Changchun that China was developing a new generation of long-range bombers, later believed to be the H-20. However, up to now, there has been no official confirmation of a real photo of the H-20, no official announcement of its first flight date, and no public test flight footage. Speculation about potential technical challenges persisted, but in March 2024, Air Force Deputy Commander Wang Wei, during an interview at the National People's Congress, directly addressed these concerns, stating that there were no bottlenecks and that everything was being resolved. He also emphasized that the development of the H-20 was a great significance. If there are no technical issues, why has there not been official unveiling since the announcement in 2016? If the H-20 is significant, why does it remain in shadowy silhouettes and slogans in promotional materials? While technical advancements have clearly been made, the delay in the H-20's development may involve factors beyond technology, such as political responsibility or strategic decisions. There is a broader context. China already has the Dongfeng series ballistic missiles, various types of long-range cruise missiles, numerous drones, and new generation stealth fighters. Given this advanced military system, the relevance of a stealth strategic bomber comparable to the US B-2 is now in question. Number 1. 10 years without a clear image, the H-20 through unofficial clues. Since 2018, public expectations for the H-20 have been driven by official statements. In 2018, CCTV aired a program discussing the development of the H-6K bomber. The chief designer of the H-6 series, He Shengqiang, said that China should not simply aim to build advanced bombers, but also to set the technical standards for them. He also suggested that future Chinese bombers should lead in operational modes rather than following existing models. Following the program, military media and independent analysts quickly raised expectations. Many articles concluded that the H-20 would not follow the B-2 or B-21 designs, but would likely feature capabilities such as near-space flight and hypersonic strike abilities. The public expectations shifted from China's version of the B-2 to a new generation model different from anything currently in use. The program also highlighted key areas for improvement, such as a more powerful engine, advanced information and electronic warfare capabilities, and considerations for China's airport conditions and cost-effective maintenance. The public's expectations for the H-20 grew from China will have a stealth bomber to China will lead the next generation of bombers. A second pivotal moment came in March 2024 during the National People's Congress when a reporter asked Air Force Deputy Commander Wang Wei about the H-20's progress. His statement reaffirmed that the bomber was on the way, not a technical impossibility. This raised expectations once again. Following Wang Wei's statement, the weekly military review section of the Guancha.cn published an article titled, "What Kind of H-20 Do We Need?" The piece explored whether China's next-generation bomber should follow the B-2 or B-21 design, focusing on stealth and penetrating enemy defenses, or continue the H-6 model of long-range missile launchers. This raised a key question. Should China focus on stealth or build a hybrid system combining both stealth bombers and missile launching capabilities, possibly with drones included? This debate revealed a lack of consensus within military circles about the H-20's design. While the lead designer emphasized the importance of leading future operations, the deputy commander reassured that the aircraft was coming soon and that there were no bottlenecks. Despite these statements, the H-20 was absent from the 2025 September 3 military parade, an event many had expected would showcase the bomber. Number 2. No appearance at the parade, but satellite images reveal a massive flying wing. For military enthusiasts, the 2025 September 3rd parade seemed like the ideal moment for the H-20's debut. Nearly a decade has passed since the official announcement in 2016, and key systems, including new fighter jets, early warning aircraft, and long-range missiles, had already been displayed. The timing was perfect to showcase a complete air-based force. However, when the parade occurred, the H-20 was notably absent. Had the story ended there, it could have been dismissed as a timing issue. But shortly after the parade, commercial satellites captured a new image. In October, US website Defense News and multiple Chinese military outlets released satellite photos of a massive flying wing aircraft at a northwest test facility. Military analysts measured its dimensions, a wingspan of about 42 to 43 meters and a fuselage length of approximately 22 to 24 meters. When compared to existing US bombers, this size is notable. The B-21 Raider has a wingspan of about 40 meters and a fuselage length of 20 meters, while the B-2 Spirit has a wingspan of 52 meters and a fuselage length of 20 meters. The new aircraft in the satellite image falls between the sizes of the B-2 and B-21. The aircraft features a typical flying wing design with its intake and engines designed for stealth. The most striking feature is the lack of visible cockpit, leading many analysts to conclude that it is likely an unmanned aircraft, possibly a large stealth UAV. It was quickly dubbed GJX. Maran aircraft or unmanned H-20. At nearly the same time, another set of satellite images emerged from a different domestic airport showing an aircraft with a wingspan close to 52 meters. Based on its proportions, this aircraft appears to be smaller in size to the B-2. These two sets of images share common features. Both appeared at a facility known for unmanned aerial vehicles, UAV test, not a traditional manned flight center. Both use large flying wing configurations, much larger than typical tactical drones, and both were speculated to have long-range stealth strike capabilities, potentially carrying hypersonic missiles like the Thunderbolt 1. In other words, while the H-20 was missing from the parade, it seems to have made its debut at a stealth unmanned bomber through commercial satellite imagery. The official response to these images has been complete silence. No model number, no performance details, and no press release confirming a successful test flight. By piecing together the narrative and material clues, we can confirm three key points. Technically, China has the ability to design and test large flying wing stealth platforms, and the unmanned version has already entered the testing phase. Tactically, long-range missiles, hypersonic weapons, and large stealth UAVs are quickly taking on roles traditionally assigned to manned stealth bombers, especially for long-range standoff precision strikes. Politically, in recent years, China's leadership has repeatedly emphasized the importance of new types of productivity and new types of combat power, advocating against false combat power and PPT projects, with military reports frequently discussing unmanned and intelligent warfare in strategic documents. Given this context, creating a simple copy of the B-2 is no longer a solution, not just from a technical standpoint, but also from a strategic and political one. After the development of missile and UAV system, does a manned bomber still provide unique value? Will it be seen as a false combat power effort? For the design team, this uncertainty is even more challenging than any technical issues. Copying the B-2 would be too conservative and misaligned with China's goals for new combat power. A leap into suborbital hypersonic stealth bombers would be premature as the supporting systems are not yet ready. With unmanned platforms already in the testing phase, investing resources in a traditional manned bomber becomes difficult to justify. The result is that a large flying wing UAV has emerged in satellite images as part of the missile strike puzzle. Meanwhile, the early promised H-20 remains stuck between not just copying the B-2 and not defining a new mode, remaining locked in verbal promises of coming soon and worth the wait. So, returning to the initial question, why has China seemingly already developed a similar platform, yet the H-20 has not made an official appearance? Based on available clues, the answer seems to be that leadership has not yet fully decided how to allocate roles between missiles, drones, and manned platforms within the future long-range strike system. Number 3, positions displaced. Systemic unemployment of the H-20. The core issue with the H-20 is no longer whether it can be made, but rather than the role it was intended to fill is being gradually replaced by other systems. A popular self-deprecating joke in military circles highlights the situation. Officials wanted something impressive, so the B-2-like outline was drawn. But halfway through, they realized that the battlefield no longer needed it, the budget couldn't support it, and the system couldn't accommodate it. Even military enthusiasts have started joking about the H-20, saying, "Folks, does anyone understand? I've been pushed out by those flashy new technologies." These flashy new technologies refer to hypersonic missiles, stealth drones, and sixth-generation fighters. Missiles have led the cost revolution in long-range precision strikes. Weapons like the Dongfeng 17, Dongfeng 26, and Changchun series are expensive per unit, but the overall cost per strike is still lower than maintaining a fleet of stealth bombers. For many fixed targets, disposable missiles are more cost-effective than an entire bomber fleet, including support and crews. Drones have driven the quantity revolution in battlefield assets, from the Wing Long and the Rainbow drones to the 40-meter wingspan GJX unmanned platform have expanded from tactical reconnaissance to strategic strike roles. For the Air Force, high-risk, high-consumption missions are increasingly being shifted to unmanned platforms. The sixth-generation fighter is driving a systemic revolution in air combat. Sixth-generation fighters are designed as aerial modes that function as fighters, command aircraft, and can carry some ground attack weapons while also controlling unmanned drones. This means that some missions originally designed for bombers are being absorbed by sixth-generation fighters. With these three technological advancements happening simultaneously, a manned stealth bomber designed to follow the B-2 model, focusing on subsonic stealth penetration, faces several challenges. How does it outperform missiles in long-range precision strikes? Is it more cost-effective than large drones for high-risk missions? What unique role can it play in command and coordination compared to future sixth-generation fighters? Apparently, the H-20's difficult berth is not simply a technical issue, but a case of positions being displaced within the system. From an organizational perspective, this kind of project becomes awkward. Halting the program would mean admitting a misjudgment in the initial decision and would require political explanation. Pushing it forward would easily lead to it being labeled as conservative or incapable of new combat capabilities. As a result, we see a compromise. Large flying wing drones are already advancing, moving between wind tunnels, runways, and test sites. Meanwhile, the H-20 continues to be described as coming soon, no bottlenecks, and of great significance, but no one is willing to specify exactly what it looks like or what it will be used for. Multiple design options in the wind tunnel, the potential path of the H-20. To assess the H-20's future, we need to return to an often overlooked but critical aspect, the wind tunnel. In recent years, China has invested significantly in large-scale wind tunnels. These include low-speed transonic and hypersonic wind tunnels, much of which now exceed the size of similar US facilities. Designs for sixth-generation fighters, various stealth drones, and distributed weapon bays have all been tested in these wind tunnels. The 40-meter and 52-meter wingspan flying wing platforms seen in satellite images could not have reached the test flight phase without these wind tunnels. This means one thing. When it comes to the technical challenges of building a B-2 size flying wing aircraft, the hurdle has already been crossed. The real divide likely occurred in the wind tunnels. One model follows the B-2 subsonic flying wing design, emphasizing stealth and payload, targeting late Cold War era penetrating bombers. Another model adds a tail and air intake, pursuing higher Mach speeds, even near space flight, corresponding to the concept of suborbital stealth bombers. A third line of models focuses on unmanned platforms, from mid-sized stealth UAVs like the Attack 11 to the 40-meter wingspan GJX, designed specifically to carry hypersonic weapons. In this context, the H-20 project is no longer a single design, but rather a basket of possibilities. Initially, it may have been conceived as a Chinese version of the B-2. As UAVs, missiles, and sixth-generation fighters advance, the contents of this basket have been split. One part became platforms like the GJX, another part became fighter designs like the J-50, which also has bomber capabilities, and some are still waiting on the wind tunnel, awaiting final direction from leadership. This also explains why there are comments on platforms like Zhihu criticizing the Air Force. The problem lies with the Air Force. They have no clear direction. Mission requirements keep changing and they keep altering criteria for mobility, payloads, and launch methods. This has caused headaches for designers and manufacturers. From the designer's perspective, this may feel like constant changes from the client, but from the Air Force and higher up perspective, it's a necessary multi option strategy. If the H-20 is set as a mid sized B-2, it must answer the question: what unique role can it play in the face of missiles and UAVs? If the H-20 is set as a suborbital stealth bomber, the entire near space system, reconnaissance, navigation, communications, and missile defense would need to be developed, a much larger political and financial gamble. If the original H-20 mission is split, high-risk penetration handed to UAVs, command and coordination to sixth-generation fighters, and intercontinental deterrence to missiles, then the H-20 label may easily be sidelined. With large wind tunnels, high performance computing, and new materials already in place, it is not difficult to test various designs, assess cost and performance limits. What is difficult is deciding who will make the final decision on the direction and take responsibility for it. Looking at the current situation, the large flying wing UAVs have emerged as a lower risk, clearer benefit choice. They align with the political narrative of unmanned and intelligent warfare, and they immediately fill gaps in long-range strike capabilities. The H-20, meanwhile, remains stuck between the wind tunnel and blueprints, awaiting a clear direction. This delay is due to the fact that the Chinese Air Force has never fought a major war. That's why, in all official statements, the highest praise for the H-20 is it is of great significance, something to be proud of, and something to be excited about. But we'll never hear a specific statement about what it actually looks like or what its role will be.